Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics Tuesday night Q&A ahead of round 21. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me are a couple of my co-hosts and fellow AFL Fantasy Fanatics. And I'll start off with Jordox. Jordox, mate, how are you? How was the weekend?
Good, mate. Good to be on. Yes, another good weekend for footy with the Crows. Another pretty average weekend for fantasy, though. So I'll take that if it remains that way for the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Well, you would have been watching on TV, whereas I was not quite suffering because I was enjoying the game, but I was a bit wet, put it that way. The poncho didn't really help, even though that's what they're meant to do. But that is all good. We enjoyed the game, but someone unfortunately didn't get to enjoy the game. But I'm sure he had a good weekend. Regardless of that, is Jordy, mate. Jordy, how are you? Besides the showdown, how was your weekend?
Yeah, pretty good. I think I had the exact opposite to Jordox. Fantasy went well, and Port went absolutely terrible. So, yeah, we'll take it with the fantasy. Needed a good week, I think, after a few bad ones. So, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly right. And we do have a special guest, like we do a lot of Tuesdays. First time this season we've got him on. We've had one of his counterparts in Liam on a number of the Tuesday night Q&As, but I thought it's time to get Jono on from Free Kick. Jono, mate, how are you? Good to finally have you on the pod this season.
Yeah, no, it's good to be here. I mean, it's been a while. I think it's been a whole year since I've been on, so it's good to be back chatting the men's footy again.
Yeah, exactly. I know for a fact I love getting you on around this time because one thing that you're excited about, I'm excited about, and plenty of people are excited about is the AFLW is just around the corner, mate. But we will chat a bit more about the men's fantasy, and we'll touch on that maybe a little bit towards the end of the pod, mate. But how's your season gone to date? How's the team looking? And I know you're in Hat Chat League One as well, obviously talking DC, but so how's that all going for you?
Yeah, that league is flying this season, and I'm really dragging down the average. I think we've got maybe 10 coaches inside the top 1,000 at the moment, and I think I've fallen well back. I started quite poorly, and then I think through the buys managed to pull it back pretty well to get myself back in amongst the top 10,000 crowd. But I don't think I'm really in with a shot with much left this season, sadly.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate, mate. But as we said, AFLW just around the corner, which is I'm sure what you're looking excited about. But what did you score and what's your rank looking like?
Yeah, so I think this weekend was a pretty big shocker for me. I think I ended up with, 2,273, which was, quite a ways off the pace. And I think a few players like Zorko in the back line really, really hurt. But, we'll go again next week, I guess.
Who would have thought a high 2,200 score and you're like a fair way off the pace? Just shows how big that last round was with so many of those big ceiling scores. But a man that I know had a good week and he was letting me know about it on the messages on the Sunday afternoon in between Nasai doing those heroics. Like I've still watched that about 100 times since then. But Jordy, mate, how was your fantasy weekend? What was your score, round rank, and where's your overall rank sitting at?
I have also watched it 100 times. It was absolutely amazing. I scored 25-11, which was nice to tick over 2,500. Weekly was 1,017. The overall rank is 262, so it went up to 63 spots. So, yeah, in the right direction, I guess. I looked and I'm still 201 points off of 100th. So that's... To get there, it's basically 50 points a week from now. So,
you could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard. But even if maybe, if I can get to top 100, maybe that is more reasonable. We'll see. Keep chipping away. But yeah, good to have a better week than the last few.
Mate, I've still got faith in you. I feel like I'm your cheerleader. I've got the pom poms going around, going that mate, you're still in with a chance. I'm still backing you in to have that good week and get you right up there. So, look at that week that Holmesy had where he was top. Was it 10 for the week or top 20, and he went from 200 to 30th or something. So, mate, all you need is one of those weeks, and you're right back there. So, yeah, keep chugging along, mate. But Jordox, I know it's been a tricky year for you as well, mate. But how did you score?
Yeah.
What was your round rank? No, bro. I can see by your face you just don't want to worry about going in. Let's listen to how it was anyway.
No, I have. Uh-oh. Yep, we're here. Yeah, 2,400. Probably my best round for the year. It's on my internet, I swear. It's just got a delay. Hold on. All right. 2,400 for the week. Round rank was about 9,000, and I've just come under 9,000 for overall. So 8,885, which is good. So better than last week.
Yep, exactly. Plus and minus 3. We'll quickly go back around the room. So Jordox, we'll go from you reverse order. Plus and minus 3.
Yep. I'll give plus 3 to Grundy because I missed out on him last week, but I still got a great score out of him this week with the 130. Negative 3 is probably actually no. I know who I'll give it to. Adam Chera. There's no reason for him to not be hitting 90s. No reason at all. The role is fine. He's a good player, and it's just frustrating because a lot of good sides moved him on, and I thought I'm not too stressed about carrying him to the end. But yeah, 85 subpar, Adam.
Yeah, exactly. A few coaches very frustrated, want to be trading him out, I think, especially this week if they've still got him. Jordy, plus and minus 3 for you?
Messiah, the Messiah, plus 3. 147, ridiculous. As you said, I reckon I watched it 100 times. Minus 3, Lockie Ash. What was going on there, Bale? 65.
Ashy, your boy.
He broke a 10-round ton, I think, and he's gone 65. That's not what we want at this time of year. Anyway, I'm hoping it was just a tough matchup and he bounces back this week. Otherwise, might be trouble.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I'll tell you what, I could be talking about that in a sign moment for ages, right? And regardless of where he ends up next year, someone's just got to give him a blank check and go, what do you want to get paid? Because that's what he deserved. That was just incredible. Like the heads-up players will look at Marshall and go, kick it here, I'm going to run it here. And the fact that Melbourne didn't even man up was ridiculous. But anyway, what absolute gun. And Jono, plus and minus 3 for you.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to go Nasai just for the sake of changing it up, but geez, what a last 10 minutes that was. I think I'm going to give it to Marcus Bontempelli, the plus 3. That was a ridiculous start to the weekend. And on the minus 3 side, I think a couple of the Freo boys. I've tried to go unique in this back half of the season to try and catch up some rank, but Jordan Clark's 68 and Caleb Sarong's 71 just really tore me down on a week when a lot of players were scoring big.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, those Freo boys. I wonder if Hayden Young is maybe going to be affecting that in the run home, or if they're going to manage him and they're still going to score well. But Jordox is back after the internet. I swear that we have this Jordox every single Tuesday night, I reckon, once where the internet does it. I don't know. Is it Melbourne internet? But then again, Jono's is going all right. So, mate, maybe it's the... No, you're on mute.
What it is I actually, shit you not, I've just changed my internet. I've got a new modem and it's working. But for some reason, there's an issue with Telstra in Melbourne today because the internet's been crap all day. And I reckon that's the issue.
Yeah. Did you break a mirror that was like made by Wi-Fi or something that's just like you've broken it now? It's just like we're going to curse you now for ages. It's
possibly. Anyway, let's carry on, and I'll do my best.
We do have a few super chats already. People are flying in with these super chats already, so we'll get through these first before we get into some other topics. So Corey Blackledge has got the first one, asking who would you trade this week. And I've got to go Jordox for this one because it's his boy Taranto. So we've got to ask you about this one. So who would you trade this week, Taranto or Daniel, as Doherty is one trade to Whitfield for sure, as like Daniel to Myers or Taranto to Rao. So Jordox, obviously, well, probably thankfully you didn't have Taranto on the weekend because obviously it was a very, very, very late out. And a few people got caught with donuts or bad cover. But as long as I'm assuming if he plays this week, you probably hold him or with Daniel being the forward line, there's not probably many options you can go to.
Yeah, he's a test Taranto. So I reckon if he comes in, you hold him and do the other move. Brian Myers has been playing in the middle. He's had some centre bounces the last couple of weeks, which I find appealing. But yeah, I think if Taranto's named and in, hold him and do the other one.
Yep, don't mind that call at all. But I'll tell you what, though, Matt Rao, oh, geez, he's looking very, very good, that's for sure. Oh, here we go. Corey Blade's got another super chat. What do I sell legend Sam Taylor for Bales? Got him from a common pack for coming ninth in contender in game day squad. I'm not going to get away from this, am I? I really am not. This Sam Taylor thing is just going to follow me. It was mentioned on the Hat Chat pod again last night. It's unbelievable. This is just not going to leave me alone, but it is fine. Mate, you can keep the legend Sam Taylor, and I'm very, very happy for you. You can enjoy the Sam Taylor experience along with myself, but I'll never own him again in fantasy, I wouldn't imagine. Tim Ashworth got a super chat here as well. Thank you, mate. He said currently ranked 49th overall. Nicely done there, Tim. Obviously been up there for a lot of the season. Jordy, what do I do? Green to Rao or English to Grundy or Warner to Petrarca? Oh, no, sorry, or Warner or Petrarca to someone. So you're doing the forward trade, the ruck trade, or are you doing the mid trade?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I looked at Tim's team actually, and
he actually also put another one saying, "Hi, Jordy, what do you think about my team?"
Yeah, it's a great team. I looked at his team because I thought maybe Warner Petrarca, but he's already got Kennedy, Myers, McRae, and Baz. So it's like you can't really get anyone like who you're going to go Warner Petrarca to. It's a speculative pick. You know, if it's a Jeremy Cameron or something, you're sort of chasing that. I think English has got a pretty good run. So Giants are, third easiest for rucks. So, you know, I expect English to do okay. So I'm thinking it's Green to Rao. I know, Bales, you're not very happy with Green at the moment, 72 last week. He hasn't hit 100 against the Dogs in the last 3 games. Hasn't hit a 120 in his last 10 games. Rao's got Richmond. I don't know. That's sort of what I'm thinking.
Out of those 3 trades, I'd get aggressive and trade Green. I know that Tim's in a good spot. I would do the Green to Rao trade. I think English to Grundy. Grundy's great, right? But I think English has got a really good run. If you're going to do that trade, you trade English out when he's got gone in a few weeks' time, not this week. And then Warner Petrarca. Warner's got the Bombers. Petrarca's got West Coast, right? In the forward line, you hold those guys. Tom Green, just bad, very bad. Just very up and down. And I'm going to stick to getting the guys like Dunkley, who I did get in last week, that will rack up those marks and tackles instead of going for guys that rely too heavily on just touching the ball. And Sean has got a super chat here as well. So, John, I'll go to you for this one. He's saying choose one from the 3 trades. So, last 2 trades have a rookie downgrade. So, first option is McKercher to Whitfield and Daniel to Jeremy Cameron. So, that's the 2 sideways moves. And then the second option and third option with the rookie trade. So second option is Daniel to Myers with the rookie trade as well, or go McCarthy to Myers in the rookie trade and loop with Daniel and Petrarca as a 23rd primo. So where would you lean to out of those ones, Johnny? Because Sean says he's currently ranked 232nd, aiming for a hat. Only just made the 8th in a cash league that I'm in. I'm like the Bulldogs of 2016. So hopefully you can take it out, mate. But Jono, your thoughts on the question there?
Yeah, he's doing well. So congratulations there. I'd say I'd definitely do McCarthy to Myers over Daniel to Myers. I like the idea of a 23rd premium loop. The question, I suppose, is if you're going to be getting Myers in, is that better? I really like Whitfield's run home. So it's very tempting to go there. I think I'd do that. Even though McKercher's been in good form, I think they're going to play around off that half back line north just in these last few weeks because it's clearly not working and they've got a lot of players that can run back there. I'm personally not a big fan of running that Jezza Cameron run home, even though, he's got 3 out of 4 matches that look incredible. I think it's going to be very up and down. So I'd personally go option 3.
Yeah. Hey, I think Jeremy Cameron would be the perfect one to do the 23rd loop. So maybe if you do the third option, McCarthy and Myers this week, maybe you can do Daniel to Jeremy Cameron next week on your bench. And then you can loop between Jeremy Cameron and Petrarca. That would be something that I think I'd be pretty keen on. So I'm probably in alignment there with you as well. Even though Whitfield, I can't remember where I heard it, but averaging 126 in his last 5 or something against the Dogs. And I know he's gone 5 of his last 6 over 130 against them. So pretty incredible numbers. So he's going to be obviously a very high.
He's due for a big one, Whitfield. He hasn't really gone big in a long time. And I feel like it's going to come at some point.
he just watching the game on Friday night was that he'll lead for the ball. He won't get used, but then he'll sprint 30 meters out of his way just to get the ball. It is absolute piggery at its finest, and we love it. So I just want to get on before missing a ceiling score. And he's the most traded in player this week for a reason. So, do like that for sure. But, boys, we are 4 weeks to go. Obviously, luxury trade season is upon us. And a lot of people are going to be in different scenarios. People are going to be in league finals. They're going to be in, obviously, looking for maybe a higher lux. If you're Holmesy, that is, or around the top 20 or so. Shout out to Holmesy having a cracking year, being up at 15th. Or you might be going for a hat, like maybe Jordy, obviously still in the mix as well there. So, Jordy, I will go to you first because I obviously mentioned you there. So, obviously, you're, as you said, a couple of 100 points behind 100th and still very much in the mix. What are your plans, particularly for next fortnight, to make sure you've got that foundation ready to make that charge in that final week or two of the season?
Yeah, I've probably got, so obviously this week I had a decent week, and I think I've got enough uniques in my side. I think it's just making sure that they go well. So, I think Noah Anderson, for example, he's got a really good matchup this week. I need a big one from him against the Tigers. Sam Darcy.
Have you seen his average against Richmond in his 4 games? 126.
I need something like that. I need Gawn to just keep going this tear because I don't know if many people have him. I've got Sam Darcy, who finally kicked a bag against Essendon. I need him to start kicking some bags again. So some of these plays I've got.
He's got my boy. He's got my boy Sam Taylor this week. Tough matchup.
I know. And then I had Ash who goes 60. So if he went 100, all of a sudden, I'm sort of 50 more points on that. So I think I've got I've still got Sam Doherty, so that is the biggest thing that I have to fix this week, and I've got Mason Wood. So there's
the last quarter.
Yeah,
you messaged me at midway through the third quarter, and you're like, bad Wood. That's all you said, bad Wood. He was on 22 at 3/4 time, and he somehow got to 70. Ridiculous. Good Wood.
Good Wood. Yeah, so I need to fix those two. That's probably my fixes this week and next week. And then the last 2 weeks, I might look at, I don't know, if Jeremy Cameron's on 80 goals or something by then and he's 20 away from 100, then he's got Richmond coming up. Maybe I have to get him. McCarthy to Cameron as a 23rd. I'll have to look at some of these sorts of plays, I think. But for now, my focus is just to fix those 2 guys and try and target the best primos. I'm not really keen on trading. This week, I can't really get 2 good options for Doc and Wood, so I'm going to hold one. Well, I can't hold Doc, I'll hold Wood, and then next week, get Wood up. So, just keep chipping away.
Get your Wood up. Always good, Jordy. Always good.
All
I didn't realise that.
All I could think about was when you said there are 2 good options, John. I don't know about you, but all I could think about was Bonnie Too Good because it's just a name. But John, obviously, a lot of your attention is actually on AFLW now. But what are you looking for over the last month season? Obviously, you said it was a tough start to the year, but you've started to claw your way back as the season's gone on. Is there something particular? Because there'll be a lot of coaches out there that have had a tough year and maybe trying to do a few things, maybe any sort of learnings or anything like that. So what are you aiming to do over the last month of the season?
Yeah, it's the end of the season is one I'm traditionally rubbish at. I think I've had 4 different years where I've been in the top 100 and 3 of them I fell out because I don't know how to handle this part of the year. So I think being at the end of the year, I'm trying to be a little more experimental. Usually I'm a very straight bat and I just kind of get the same consistent performers. So at the moment I'm trying to figure out, what happens if I just kind of go crazy with some uniques, and I'm just seeing what happens there. So there are some players that I think are super obvious and I'm still probably going to get in. So this week I'm going Doherty up to Whitfield, but I'm probably on the other side of things looking at getting in Hayden Young just because I think that'll be a bit of fun and using cash on the other side. And
love that. Yeah. No, I love that, Jono. I was going to bring him up as an option as that 23rd guy. He's so cheap. And if he plays 4 quarters based on what he's doing, he goes 120 every week. Now we know that won't be the case. But yeah, he's so cheap.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And he can score so quickly. And
Yeah.
I kind of like that I've got the two other Freo guys. If they just have a game where it's possessions galore, I think the whole team goes up, and I want to see what that looks like too. So,
yeah, exactly. It's probably the first time I've actually seen someone win a derby medal, like whether it be Showdown or Battle of the Bridge or Q Clash or whatever, and they've won it getting subbed out at 3/4 time. That was the interesting part, because he was that good in 3/4 that so he's definitely an option for sure, and I'm sure people will be looking at him there. Got a couple more super chats here. So Matt D, thank you, mate. Gents, love your work. Thank you. Two questions. So one, Mills, Dale, or Chera, who goes first? The others will go next week. And then two, any worries of Melbourne, St Kilda, Sydney debuting rucks? So the second part of that question, I'm not really too concerned about Gawn or Marshall or Grundy being like rested or anything like that. Like like Sydney are still, I don't know if they're still mathematically like a chance, but obviously we know they're putting very, very not likely to make finals. So Grundy's not getting rested. And the way he's going for All Australian as well. So they're not going to rest him when they're going for that. Marshall is probably playing to maybe tell St Kilda to not worry about TDK and put the money into Nasire and keep me around as the number one ruck, or further his stocks for another team if he moves. And then Gawn is the captain of the club. He's not going to be resting for sure, like particularly after what happened last week. He's going to want to come out and have a massive game. So I'm not worried about that. And in terms of Mills, Dale, or Chera, who goes first? I think Chera's the one that goes first. Mills has got the Bombers this week. He's obviously put up a 94 last week and then a ton the week before. I think you hold him for another week. Look at trading him when he's got Brisbane the following week. And then Bailey Dale is the frustrating one, but he's got Giants this week, which may not be great. You might be able to loop him with McCarthy at D6, and because Dale plays the first game. But after this, Dale's actually got a pretty nice run for the last 3 games. So I'll be keeping him. He's got a ceiling on his day. I don't think there's going to be any tags outside of potentially this week. So if you can loop him, I'll do that. If you can't loop him, then maybe trade him. But I think Chera is the one that goes.
I reckon
there.
I was watching that game. I reckon Chera started every quarter on the bench. Very frustrating. Like the first bit of play, and then came on. So frustrating. And he had a decent quarter to save his score. So yeah, I agree with Chera out.
We've got another win for Tim Ashworth saying, thanks, guys. And Cats Port this week. I'm a Cats fan. With Bale still looking at the Patreon Cup rankings. Yep, I'll be doing that, recording that tomorrow, Tim. And yes, obviously, Geelong are in good form. And I do expect them to win this week as well. And Jordy is asking for Goulden, Rowell, or Junkley, because obviously Junkley does like to junk it up late in the games. And we're just really throughout the game. Who would you go for out of those 3 guys?
Geez, they're all pretty good options, aren't they? Is it just Rao number 1, then Dunkley 2, then Goulden 3? I think that's the order. I know Goulden's got a great matchup. We've talked about it for a while. It's his 5th or 6th game in now, and I just worry about the fitness coming back. And obviously he went off with something as well, which I think they said it was cramp, but we're not fully sure. So I think it's Rao.
It wasn't on the injury report from what I saw, so he should be all good.
He probably will go massive this week. That's he's playing Essendon, but I think we just stick with Rao. What do you reckon? Rao, Dunkley, Goulden, I think is how I would order it.
We had a similar question this time last week, ranking 3 players. I reckon it was Rao, Dunkley, and Steele. And I had Rao 3rd, and I've been anti-Rao for a while, just based on the fact that his score build is so dependent on the high tackles. But I'm just going to put my hand up. I was wrong. Rao's the one. He's on another planet at the moment. He's tackling, yes, but the way he's hunting the ball away, he's accumulating. I think he took 4 marks on the weekend, which is probably close to a PB for him. I don't see anything changing there.
Yeah. 37 disposals.
Yeah. And they smashed Brisbane. They all got involved. But this is 9, 10 tons in a row. And second time he's gone 140 plus. So if I was ranking them, I'd go Rowell, Dunkley, Goulden.
Yeah, well, Ralph, I think is probably the play because he's so unique, right? If you're looking to win a final in your league matchup, trying to make ranked, he's probably the one to go for because not everyone's going to have 1.12 million in the bank. Obviously, you need the money, then obviously go cheaper. But I think if you can afford it, and again, I know Jake, good friend of the show from Hat Chat, brought him in, and I know he said he wanted DC to shout him out again last night. So I've got to shout him out again. What a trade that was 8 weeks ago to bring Matt Rowell in the buys. And thought he was going to trade him out, and then it's just turned out he's just a keeper. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So shout out to Jake there as well. But Jordox, just to sort of wrap up there, because obviously we've got Jordy and Jono's thoughts. What are your plans for the final 4 weeks of the season? Is it maybe a target rank you're looking at? Are you trying maybe some different things to look forward for next year? Because I know that a lot of your focus is going into a few of these draft leagues that you're in, and particularly with finals, obviously, here as well.
Yeah, and Dream Team RDT finals starting in the league I'm in, which is a big deal. So, yeah, look, my focus on AF hasn't been as sharp as if I'd been doing well. But I think in terms of target, if I can finish the year inside top 10K, I'll take that. I mean, for the start I had, it's been a good comeback. In terms of, how I'm going to play the next few weeks, I mean, I don't have Wanganeen Miller, which just feels so silly right now. But I had the call between him and Grundy last week, and I'm happy with it. So now I think, do I break the bank and get him in, or do I do a bit like what Jono was saying, just have a bit of fun, see if I can pull off a couple of unique picks that go well, and maybe I can have a nicer finish. But for this week, I've got McCarthy on field still, so he's someone I've got to focus on. But I've also got Caleb Daniel, even Isaac Rankin. His role is, So, I think just try and have a bit of fun next few weeks and stop trying to, I could say my goal is top 5K and then I'll be disappointed if I have a shit week. So stay in 10K, have some fun.
Yeah. I was just pulling up the team here just because I want to see if you could actually do this. You probably could look at bringing in. I'm actually looking at this. The Content Creators Cup, the consolation finals and the semi-finals. Guesty's up against you, Jordox. You both are up against each other, which is quite funny. I was that shit that I didn't even make the consolation finals. I was in the bottom 4.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah. So, what is it? Traders called? What is it? The Traders called the Tin Head Cup for the bottom 8, whatever. So we'll see who takes that out. There and be interesting to see who takes out the Content Creators Cup in general. But mate, maybe just trade someone down. Just go McCarthy to Sam Berry. Just do it. Get Sam Berry in, your boy.
Berry has scored 80 plus in 3 of his last 4. Just saying. And
was it Guesty that brought Berry in? He'd be saying, where's this been when I actually had him in the team.
I will get Dan Curtin in. What a man.
What a jet. Then, and then in terms of me, obviously, I'm just trying to go for as good a rank as possible. My main goal was achieved. I did not get relegated from Hat Chat League 6, which I'm absolutely over the moon about. Won my last 4. Very, very happy with that. It doesn't mean I'm back a year to my quest to join Jono and the boys up in League 1. But yeah, being at 3,422, my goal was top 2K. That's I've eyed that off for a while now. Top 1,000 was like, if I could have some monster weeks, then great. But top 2K is where I'm looking at. I don't exactly know how far I am away from the ranking, but I'm just trying to chip away. Top 3K hopefully this week, and then just keep moving forward with a month to go and just making smart trades, because that was a very, very tough first 10 weeks being ranked 13,500. But it has been a good few weeks since then. So I'm just trying to do that and try and aim as high as possible. Let's go through a few of these other questions here that people are doing. And unfortunately, I've got to go to AFL Fantasy Forever. Mate, I don't like this question. Thoughts on trading Laird or holding? How dare you say trading Laird and in the same sentence? That is
at least he got Laird. Give him props for having him this year.
I'll give him props for it, but yeah, you don't trade. No, in all seriousness, I don't think you actually trade Laird, to be honest, because he's got Hawks this week, but then he goes West Coast, Collingwood, North Melbourne. He's got a pretty decent last few games of the season. So I'd be holding if you've got him personally.
And Bales, I hope I'm still welcome on the pod after this, but perhaps Crows will look to give him a breather before finals. So that's all I'll say. We've got a couple of soft games there.
That is a very,
so maybe
very
trade
good
him.
point. There's a good point, Jordox, but they also do have the pre-finals bye as well. So I wonder if they just try and keep the continuity going through. But yes, no, good shout, good shout. I wouldn't trade him in, I don't think, at this point. But if you've got him, hold and it could even be a D7 M9 potential loop guy you have there. But in all seriousness, yes, you can trade if he's your worst player. To Jeremy Cameron and a rookie downgrade, or is trading Daniel and Rankin to Cameron and Kennedy a higher priority than getting McCarthy off field? So, Jordy, what are your thoughts there? Is it getting McCarthy off field? Like, it really comes down to, would you rather Daniel and Cameron or McCarthy and Cameron?
I think McCarthy's all right, isn't he? I think I'm doing the other trade. I think I'm going in Cameron and playing McCarthy for another week. So sending it.
So you'd be trading Rankin as well, going Rankin as well to Kennedy.
Well, Rankin, McCarthy's probably going to outscore Rankin, you would think. 70, 80. So Kennedy's a great price. I think I'd be going Kennedy and Cameron. And then you can look at McCarthy on field this week. I think is okay, and then you can look at McCarthy out next week.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, that's a good plan because those I think Kennedy and Cameron are decent enough matchups this week. I think both could go pretty well. I probably agree with that one. Liam's got this question, Jono. Looking at going Harley Reid, who unfortunately is out to injury, to Lockie Whitfield, which is a great trade. Be locking that in. Or he's also looking at Jack Martin to Matt Kennedy and play McCarthy on field. So which of those two options would you go for?
Yeah, well, I guess it probably depends. Who would he be playing in the back line in the forward line if it wasn't for the second trade there? Because do you have a spare player back there is probably my question.
I think it comes down to if he holds Harley and does Martin to Kennedy, plays McCarthy on field, or he just trades Harley to Whitfield and keeps Jack Martin. I'm just assuming is what he'll be doing. So it comes down to what, Whitfield and Jack Martin or McCarthy and Kennedy?
I'm a big fan of Kennedy. I traded him in last week. I think their run to the end of the season is pretty spectacular. So I think I'd run McCarthy for 1 week and then, probably trade up Harley after that. Yeah,
Jack Martin's
Jack stinky. Oh, Martin was so disappointing.
Last week. Last week. Not.
That's what I mean.
He's been solid.
And it worked for me in Dream Team because I was against him. And I was scared because he was playing North and Cats went nuts. But he didn't play off half back. He was forward, I believe. And just, I guess Jezza never passed. So he didn't get a chance. And you know what? He was on, I reckon he was on 32 at quarter time. And he finished on like 44. Very weird.
Yeah. And if you're not scoring as a forward in a game where you're up by 100 points at three-quarter time, I don't think there's a game you can score that well in. So.
I mean, he has been great. We said last week, didn't we, Bales? It's probably the top. You get off before it blows up in your face. And unfortunately, that 44 blew up in many people's face.
Yeah. Kaz says, my first trade, Zorko to Whitfield, which I do think I like that trade. Obviously, we heard that during the coverage on the Saturday that Zorko is going to be managing a Liz Frank injury for the remainder of the season. So I think it is a good time to jump off of him and get rid of maybe a potential early sub-out game. For the second trade, to get Sinclair, who goes out of Josh Dacos, Green, or Merritt? Jordox, I think I'm Merritt here with the tags coming. I know that Green's been frustrating, but he's got some good matchups, and Josh Dacos has done nothing wrong. Is it Zach Merritt for you that goes to Sinclair?
Let me just have a look at him. Merritt. It's hard with Essendon at the minute.
He's guaranteed. Jordan will go to him this week. Sydney don't. I know a few people have said, "Oh, well, Sydney by the team." Sydney are a system-based team. They're not going to change because they need to win, and they're going to just go. Let's keep Merritt out of the game.
They take Callahan. Yeah.
So
who are the other two to drop potentially?
Josh Dacos or Tom Green.
Yeah, you'd think Green bounces back. Yeah, probably Merritt, but that's tough. Those three very good players that if it were my side, I don't think I'd be dropping any of them. So whoever's asking must be in a good spot. What were you saying, Jordy?
So Merritt got 80 in round 9, tags by James Jordan. And then the last year got 63. So it's not the best numbers. Didn't Callahan go nuts though? And Jordan tried to tag him.
I think Callahan is a very different player to Zach Merritt. I think we have seen this year Zach Merritt has had an ability because of how obviously bad S&R with all these injuries and that he's just got no help. So he gets tagged. He's got no one helping him at all. His teammates can't kick the ball to him because they've obviously got a few of the younger guys there. I think that Finn Callahan he's a very, very good player. And I think he's too quick. He's too quick for Jordan. That third quarter he played was, if Nasai didn't play the quarter he did in the last quarter, I think you could say that third quarter by Finn Callahan would have been the best quarter by player this week.
He does.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
And it was only 95 he scored, so imagine what Finn would have scored if Jordan wasn't tagging. It would have gone huge.
And plus, I don't think Finn's like a massive ceiling player yet, right? He's still obviously growing into this role and obviously playing amazing, Rob. He hasn't got that, getting those tackles and those marks to bump that score up to get those 130s, 140s. Like, what was it, that opening round game? He scored a 120. That's one of the best games we've seen from player this year, and it was just a 120. Whereas we saw like some of these players have had the best game of the year, like Heaney, for example, 166. Like you just didn't have the ceiling yet, but yeah, 95. He was still fairly solid with the tag there. Casey Johns, Whitfield in, but who do I go out? Looking at one of Flanders, McCarthy, Mills, or McKercher. Also have Rosie and Butters. Well, Rosie and Butters are definitely not the ones you're looking at there, unless Rosie's ruled out. I think Flanders is safe because you've got Richmond this week, so you hold him. I think it's McCarthy that goes because he's the one that's the rookie there. Mills got the Bombers, and McKerch is still my favourite out of those four. Jono, would you agree with that? Is McCarthy the one there that goes out, or would you go for one of the other guys?
No, I'd go McCarthy 100%. I think with rookies, it's always a danger that they're going to drop a 20 or something on your head. You never know. And I know McCarthy's been very consistent to this point, but when it's young players playing their first season, you never know what's going to happen. They could get sore very easily, or I think it's just worth getting them off the field when you have the moment to do it. And this is definitely that time.
Yeah, agreed. But John, I'll go back to you for this one from Nathan Thomas saying, hey team, would it be best to trade Rankin and Chera to Jeremy Cameron and Josh Dunkley, or Chera to Rao and a rookie down? So looking at a couple of sideways moves, or just doing a rookie down and getting a high-end player. So where would you be going out of these two?
Oh, it's a tough one. I'm not usually a fan of Adam Chera generally, so I guess I'd be tempted by that. But yeah, I think probably the two sideways moves is where I'd be going. It's hard. I feel like at this point of the year, if you go the going right up to a premium player, you're kind of banking on that player having a very big week to be a better trade. So I think that's usually where I would go. Yeah.
Well, Rankin to Cameron's an upgrade. I know Rankin's he's not having the same impact, obviously, playing forward. And you got Jezza, who's got Port this week, who have got a lot of injuries in their defensive line. Then he goes up against the Bombers. So could be a massive finish. He's got Sydney, but I'm not probably too scared about that, to be honest. Sydney's defense hasn't really been the Sydney defense we've known. And then he goes Richmond. So could be a massive end to the year. And we know what Dunkley can do. So I'd probably agree with that one there as well. Stu's got this one, Jordy, and I know Stu is still right up there in the rankings. He's asking Merritt to Anderson, and then Darcy to Cameron. I'm not sure if he's doing both or doing one or the other. Oh, no, sorry. Again, he might be doing both. Merritt to Noah Anderson, and then Sam Darcy to Jeremy Cameron. Are you ticking those two trades off?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, we talked about Merritt with the tag. Noah Anderson's a real good option this week. I don't know if you heard Uze speak, but he said that, obviously day cost, we just saw him go 146, but he said in the presser about tagging, and they didn't opt to tag because they're a young side, and they would have to have used a forward or someone there to tag, and it would just throw their structure out, and it was too hard for the young players for them to deploy a tag. So I don't think they're going to tag Anderson this week, and I think transition point wise, he should go nuts. So I think that's a good trade. Darcy to Cameron, it's all really on goals, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's probably all right. Who knows? Darcy could kick a bag and Cameron is quiet, but you think Cameron wants to get to that 100 goals. Did kick 7 on Port earlier this year. Kick 6 on Essendon. He's got them next week. So that's 13 goals. So that could be a good option. So I think I'd tick it off.
Yeah. I did hear that Uze comment as well about the not tagging. What a load of crap. I watched Essendon and Richmond, worst game of footy I've seen, and Ross tags him the whole second half and says that we don't want to break structure. Ross is playing midfield. Gee, sometimes coaches really want to pull the wool over our eyes, but you're not fooling anyone. I know you did tag Zach Merritt that night, and I wouldn't be shocked if he tagged Nando, but I hope he doesn't, Jordy, because I know he's your boy.
Yeah, we want a big one. We need a big one.
Yep, exactly. And then I think we'll get a full panel agree with this one. So Tom Bain saying Hayden Young and Vloston gives me loophole options or Nasiah. I think we're all saying here I'm assuming we're all agreeing getting Nasiah.
Well, it just depends, doesn't it? Like, for me,
you ruined it.
What did I ruin?
I was just assuming we were all going to agree, but carry on.
Well, do you want everyone to just agree, or do you want a healthy discussion on this podcast? No, look, I'm just saying, like my situation, like I'm probably not going to get Wanganeen Miller now because it's not going to really help me. I'm better off going with something different. But if you're in a decent position, then yes, you'd get him.
Yeah, exactly. Ethan Peacock's got next question. Jono, Sinclair and Anderson for Zorko and Dale. Would you tick those trades off?
Yeah, no, every day of the week. I think Zorko, he must be sore. He's been very down the last few weeks, so I'm keen to get off him. And yeah, Anderson looks very solid. Sinclair looks very solid. I don't really see any downside to that.
Well, I'll sort of give you another question, John, as well. That a lot of people are tossing up on one of them. I think I'm probably leaning towards Whitfield at the moment, but a lot of people are tossing up Whitfield and Sinclair this week. That seems to be one that a lot of people are looking at. Whitfield, obviously, value after obviously the early concussion. Sorry, Jordy. And then you've got Sinclair, who's now got North Melbourne, Richmond, Essendon in his next 3 games, and Nasai's playing in the midfield now, meaning he's got all the ball back there. Do you sort of lean one way or the other if you had the choice?
Yeah, I think I'd still go Whitfield. I think he's definitely got the highest ceiling out of the 2 players. And as easy as it is to play against these bottom teams, I always worry when you're a defender because if your team gets on a real run, then sometimes the ball just doesn't spend enough time back there. So I don't know. I'm always a little bit hazy on defenders. I mean, if you look at like Fremantle this week, dominated West Coast, and Jordan Clark and Luke Ryan barely touched the ball. So I don't know. I tend to hesitate when the best teams' defenders are coming up against the bottom teams. So for that reason, I think Whitfield's a better option. Yeah,
exactly. We did have a question from Guesty, who's listening in. So obviously we love Guesty around here. He's saying, he's like listening in, who do I prioritize out, McCarthy or Caleb Daniel? That's what he's looking at trading out there. So because Guesty asking, we'll give our thoughts on Guesty's question. So Jordox, where are you going? Who's going out for you?
Where was the question?
You sent it to me via text message. So it's a very special,
say it again.
Special request. Who goes first, McCarthy or Caleb Daniel?
Caleb Daniel. Well, I'm playing him this week, so I reckon if he's got Wanganeen Miller, I reckon his run is probably up. So drop him, make some cash, Guesty. Daniel or McCarthy. I mean, I don't know. There's something about McCarthy that feels like he's going to be all right, but you probably play the percentages there and drop him ahead of Daniel. Not sure. What do you boys reckon?
I'm trading Caleb Daniel first. I think the decision is a good chance to be made for us this week. I wouldn't be shocked if he's dropped based on the what's that? What do you got there, Jordy?
So there's a forward. Daniel was forward and also had a CBA. So I don't know. They're mucking around with his role.
No, hold on. Pull that up again. That looked like defense, Jordy. What do you?
So it's mostly defense. He had 7 kickouts, but then he did have a bit of forward time, and he had a CBA as well. So that's different. I don't know if they're trying to. They're trying, like you
And
said,
you know what?
They got Dersmer in, and
You could see him being the scapegoat big time. Hey, big loss. He was terrible. I mean, they were all terrible. I know there's a lot of people in the fantasy circles, and I'm sure North Melbourne fans wondering, why they're persisting with Daniel in this role. Maybe there is a change. And
there are a lot
maybe
of
McCarthy's
people that want him gone. Pitchforks are coming out. That I remember hearing David King talk about how much he gets annoyed where Daniel plays on out of the square, does a few steps, goes back the other way, then goes back the other way. It's just like, but we get the fancy points. But I think that this could be a decision that's made for us, unfortunately, Guesty.
Yeah.
But Jordy and Jono, what are your thoughts on this? Well, McCarthy or Daniel out?
My main concern here is, like, if you're trading at Caleb Daniel, you've probably already got 4 of the best forwards out there. So how far up are you realistically going? Like, I think the player you're bringing in the forward line is going to be a bigger risk. If you're taking McCarthy out, I think there's, 5 or 6 defenders that you could comfortably say will go 105 plus from here. So I think really if you're looking at the upgrades on the other side, you're going to get more value of taking McCarthy out of your side.
Not everyone is going to be able to do this, but I'm looking at Guesty's team here. He's got Kennedy in the midfield, which is, I think, a big change. Because you can go Daniel to a midfielder.
So we could take that to a midfielder or a defender mid.
Not everyone's going to be in that scenario, but if that is the scenario, does that change it for you? Pretty much comes down to McCarthy v Daniel, and McCarthy's.
In that case, the scoring's. Yeah. In that case, I do worry about Daniel's role a lot. Jeez. That makes it tough, honestly.
Yeah, you probably don't want either.
I wonder. Oh no, you wouldn't be able to loop. I just thought McCarthy plays early. Could he loop? But then you basically locking him in, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So Jordy, where are you Daniel X? You can go into the mids, or are you trading McCarthy?
Yeah, I think I'm Daniel. I don't know. I don't like that he was forward and a CBA. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Like, why are they changing his role? Yeah, I don't know. I think because he's got Kennedy in the mids, I think if he can get him up, I think that's pretty good, pretty handy.
Yep. Yeah, I agree as well there. Mia, who's a coach of Rosie Cheeks, has been in the chat last few weeks, says, hey, all negatives, sitting in the rain at the depressing showdown for Jordy and I. Positives, Naz, held 3rd and chasing down 1st. So obviously Mia is having a very, very good season. They're only 84 points behind first spot there. So thinking merit to Anderson and Daniel to Jeremy Cameron, risky but hopeful. So Jordy, I know for pretty much every Anderson question I go to you, one of your boys. What are your thoughts on those merit to Anderson and Daniel to Jeremy Cameron?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Like merit to Anderson, I feel like it's pretty safe. Touch wood, I would have thought. Daniel to Cameron, obviously there's risk there, but you think Cameron's run for the rest of the year is pretty good. So, I mean, I would assume Mia has, I might quickly check the team, all the forwards, like Myers and McRae and, Kennedy and all of those types. I like it.
Yeah.
Mia's got, she's got everyone. She's got Baz, Jackson, Myers, McRae, Kennedy. So they're basically all the ones that you want. So it'd be Daniel to Cameron. And I think that's, I'll tick that off, I reckon.
Yeah, I would as well. Tim Ashworth's got another super chat here saying, is Bailey Smith injured? I hope not. Yes, we saw the news. When is there not a week that... So there was no news on Baz last week. Nothing. And he couldn't go away with it. So he's like, no, we have to get back in the news again this week. Dane just had the kebab, so now I've got to go back on top and talk about that. But he apparently commented on the Supercoach post and said that I'm playing. So we'll see. Yeah. But it wouldn't be a surprise to anyone if he was announced. So just maybe have some forward bench cover. I know a lot of people traded Angie last week. People got like an Ashton Moyer there. If you've got Kai Lohman, obviously he's not going to be playing, so he's injured for the next few weeks, but hopefully you got some cover there. And he's saying, do I go Merritt or Green to Rao? I think I merit out to Rao because Merritt will get tagged, whereas I don't believe Green will for the remainder of the season. So that would be where I answer that one there. We do have another super chat as well here, coming from Chris. Super chat's flying in tonight. Appreciate everyone that's putting those through very much. I scored 25-39 for Chris last week. Massive score there. With Ash and Green, my two worst scores, and McCarthy at D6. Can I sideways Rosie to Anderson and fix McCarthy next week? Also loving the AFLW content, Jono. So, Jono, we'll go to you for this one, obviously, given you the props there as well. But what are your thoughts on the trades there for Chris?
Yeah, firstly, I appreciate it. I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of speculation that Rosie's going to be out given the hand issues that he was having. But I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case. Like, I understand that Port's not doing too well and you don't want to risk a player, but I feel like of all the players to keep playing through injury at the end of a season, you'd have your captain up there amongst the top handful. I would have thought he's the sort of player that's going to keep going fairly consistency towards the end of the year. I'd probably look at McCarthy this week over moving Rosie out of the side, but I know some of you boys Port Adelaide supporters. Does anyone have any idea about what's going on with Rosie?
Jordy?
I'm not a Port Adelaide supporter, but my take is very similar, Jono. It was a bit sore, and he was quoted as saying he's just going to play until he can't anymore. I think he's one of the players that's pretty close with Hinkley. I think he's going to want to play out the season and finish it. And in terms of damaging it for next year, it is just a broken hand. I say that like as if I had a broken hand, I'd even be standing up right now. But you know what I mean. I reckon he'll be all sweet. But Jordy's the Port man. What do you reckon?
No, I actually agree with that. I think I didn't catch the showdown, but I went and watched just Rosie's highlights just yesterday and just looking at his tackles and how he marked it and stuff. And it didn't look like it wasn't affecting him. That's just from I didn't watch the whole game. So I know obviously Bales, you were there in the rain, but it didn't look like he was that. And even Carr came out and said he reviewed the game and he didn't really see him wincing or anything about that with the hand. Obviously it's come out and it's really swollen. So I think I agree with his captain. Rosie's had a pretty awesome year. Like, he's probably in All-Australian contention. He's probably leading our best and fairest. And with the whole Hinkley stuff, I think he probably just wants to finish the season. And, he could potentially line up at half-back for the All-Australian side. So, not that we would play for personal accolades, but I think, as captain, you'd probably just want to, you want to be there, right? If you're the captain of the club, you want to play, I think he's going to put his hand up. So he's not one to watch, but I'm going to hold him.
Yeah, well, watching the game on Saturday night, I couldn't see the second quarter because just couldn't see anything. It was raining way too much. But from what I saw for the rest of the game, I actually thought Rosie was pretty good. He took some kick-ins, was good, laid 7 tackles.
CBAs as well.
Didn't look like the hand was bothering him too much. Obviously, would have had a jab before the game. But obviously, looking at even the vision when I got home, because you better believe I came home and watched the KO mini of that game again. Looking at the hand in the post presentation, it was you could see it was really all swollen up at that point, and that's sort of when I got worried. But I'm saying he's pulled up well, and he's saying that he'll play until he can't. That says to me that I think he's going to play. And 8-day break is a decent enough break, I think, where he'll play. So I'd be holding him.
Last bit, Bergman's out as well for the year, it seems. So they're another man down. I think he has to play.
Yeah, a few people will have maybe a bit of a double of maybe a Doc and Bergman this week, and Daniel gets dropped, and what happens with Barty Smith? Fantasy is a cruel game, and it can sort of compound. But I know there are people still trading out likes of Cherry and Nick Martin and got that last one. You just feel for those coaches that have had all the bullets. So I thought I had a bad year. It's probably nothing compared to that. So I'll stop my whinging. What do we got here? So from Agia, I hope I said that correctly. Apologies, I haven't. Saying brought in Jack Steele last week and gave me a 46 for his lowest CBAs this season. Do you guys know the issue with that? Yeah. So on Friday, had a bit of a shoulder knock and shoulder concern. So Saints Nation AU on Twitter posted that. And then also Drew Jones was posting that. So I think it says on Sunday. But if you want 2 sources of news to sign up to, Goat Fantasy and AFL ratings. Follow those two on Twitter, and you won't miss a thing. Turn notifications on as well. Also, AFL subs and late changes is the other one. The only place that you get your subs and late changes notifications. Jordy, I know you. Jordox, you guys would have been on overtime on the weekend with Sandy Brock coming as a late in for Harry Edwards and Taranto as a late
was crazy.
out. So plenty of stuff going on.
Was it with the West Coast one? Yeah, it was all right because it wasn't.
The game started. I think didn't the game start and then they announced it or something?
Yeah. Like by the time we tweeted it, it was the game had started. And I remember saying in a chat with Elle, like, not really much relevance, so it's not a big deal. But I saw some poor bastard or bastard some guy or girl was using Brock as the loop captain to get Bont maybe or Grundy, and ended up with Brock on field as captain. That is, I always say with your loops, don't ever use emergencies just in case. But this happened on the siren. I just think that is as stiff as a board.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, unbelievably bad luck. Yeah, and but yeah, with this Jack Steele one, I know a few people didn't see the news and got caught out with that. So yeah, obviously sorry on behalf of Jack Steele and St Kilda for not probably saying that he had more of a shoulder concern. But yeah, Jordy.
Yeah, I was checking top 100 and 10 people brought in Jack Steele. So yeah, obviously was quite highly traded in, and that last quarter, when the whips are cracking, he was 100% forward. So they changed the midfield mix there. Max Hall went inside. Wood went to the wing. A few other, obviously Nasai dominating. But yeah, it is a worry for sure.
Yeah. Just see this comment from Sim. I watched the round review Sunday night, and I can't work out whether Bales is a Timu DC or DC's a Timu Bales. No, I dream of being like a Timu DC. So for sure, it's that way. For sure, he's the one with the hat. He's the one with the hat. I don't have a hat, so yeah, it is that way for sure. But Sim, that's a good one. I like that one. What's it? Sim said, my point being the two boys actually look very similar to each other. Interesting take. But there you go. I wonder if DC's happy or offended by that. Or I'll have to ask him. Ethan Peacock says, Goulden, Anderson, Dunkley, Sinclair. So he's got Goulden twice there, but he said pick two of those, Jordy. So Goulden, Anderson, Dunkley, and Sinclair. Pick two of those four.
Jeez. Wow, that's very tight. I love Goulden. I just he is a weapon. I feel like he's going to go massive this week when we have him potentially lower in the ranks. I'm locked on Sinclair this week. I think with Nasai inside in his run, I have to get him. And I think Anderson, those other three, I think Sinclair, I'd grab him because he's cheap. Those other three, I probably have Anderson with the run, but who knows? One could pop a big one this week.
Yeah.
How do you rank it? I'll go Anderson and Sinclair.
Yeah. It's funny to say. I think Sinclair's my favourite target out of those guys. The price, the role, the matchups, it's just tick for me. So he's there. And then, Anderson, Dunkley, Goulden's incredibly hard, right? Anderson's got Richmond and Carlton. Great matchups, those two. But with Rao going absolutely ballistic, I feel like that sort of caps Anderson in a way. Dunkley's going really well at the moment with those tackles, but it's got some trickier matchups, even though I think these matchups will suit him. And then Errol, I feel like I want a piece of Errol against Essendon. I think that could be a massive, massive day. So if you're going for the ceiling, it's Errol. Safety, I think it's probably Dunkley, but you can't go wrong, I don't think, with any of those three. I think all three.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Errol's going big.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he is as well. Final question we'll do for the night was from Papa Rondad. Jono saying need to trade in Nasaya, but don't know who to get out to get him in. Thinking of going a Butters or a Josh Dacos out. Do we think Butters gets the Mullen tag this week? So, Jono, would you tick off trading a Butters or a Josh Dacos if the rest of your team's looking okay to get Nasaya in?
Yeah, he's definitely one that gets away from you. I'm trying to look at Butters' end of the season. I do think that Geelong they do love a tag. It's not like they have their own superstar midfielders as much. So I can see that. What is Port Adelaide's run for the rest of the year, though?
So they go Geelong this week, then they go Freo, Carlton, Gold Coast. So it could be Mullen into maybe a Wagner or an O'Meara, Carlton, who knows what they're doing, and then Gold Coast. So probably 2 harder, 2 better matchups.
Yeah, I think I'd be trading out Butters before Josh Dacos. I think Dacos just has that ability to go big, and he does with some harder matchups to come. I think off the half back line, he'll probably be getting a little bit more. With Butters, I think you can always get him back in round 23 if it looks like he's going to go big. I think the next 2 matchups could be quite tough. If there's an injured Rosie, no Bergman anymore, a lot of the focus is going to be on stopping him, I think, to get away from Port Adelaide. So I'd be pretty comfortable trading him out.
Yeah. Just as an owner of Josh Dacos, I'm not opposed if people wanted to trade him, because he was someone I did half look at before Caleb Daniel put up that absolute stinker on Saturday night. If you remove that 80-point quarter that he had, the quarter for the ages, right? Up there, one of the best quarters this year. His last 5, he's gone 97, 84. The 132 with that score was on 50 at 3/4 time, 85, and then a 103 against Richmond. So I don't know. I feel like he's just hovering around the 90s, and he's almost like another McKercher. Like, I feel like they're just doing the same thing. So he's near $1 million.
I can see that.
And he's got and he goes Brisbane, Hawthorn, Adelaide in his next 3.
Is his brother taking his ball?
I think Nick takes everyone's ball, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. If I'm Collingwood, there's no way when I was 3 games clear on the ladder that I wasn't doing an intense training block. And I reckon they'd be getting ready for this. This coming month is when they start playing the tough teams and then finals. I think this is when they're going to be planning for. So I'd be more comfortable banking on that, even though the 80s aren't particularly great.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a high priority raise, a luxury trade. I'm just saying I'm making probably the devil's advocate one. Maybe I'm trying to send him a rocket.
No, very fair. Very fair.
Sending Jacos a rocket. 103 is good, but I want these 110s. I want these good scores coming in to rise up the ranks. So, but yeah, if he gets more of a midfield role, could be some good scores there. That'll probably do us, I reckon, for the pod. We'll just quickly rip around the room and go with current trade plans as of Tuesday night. So, Jono, what are you currently looking at this week with your trades?
Yeah, so going Doherty out to bring in Lockie Whitfield. And then I had a little bit of cash in the bank, but not quite enough. So at the moment, Caleb Daniel out in my forward line, moving, Matt Kennedy forward just as Tim might be himself, and bringing Hayden Young into the midfield.
Yeah, I like it, mate. I like it. Jordy, what are you looking to do with your trades?
Yeah, I have to get rid of Doc as well. So I'm going him to Sinclair. That one's locked. And then the second trade, I'm looking at either McKercher out or Merritt out for Brian Myers. And I'd move Wood into the midfield, which allows me to loop McCarthy and Wood for this week. And then next week I can get Wood up.
Yeah. He's done it.
But
I was just thinking, I'm gonna throw in a Wood pun at the end of this, but you did it again yourself. So I didn't mean to.
I'm thinking about trading Kirch over Merritt. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, we'll think about it. I just think he could maybe go 70, 80 as well as Merritt. Yeah. Anyway, we'll think about it.
Yeah. Jordox?
Yeah. I think, the plan last week was Grundy last week and then find a way to get Nasiah this week. But I think I'll pivot. I love doing something with Hayden Young and, maybe a couple of mid-price guys just for a bit of fun to finish off. Not a very fun season for me, if I'm honest. But, So no concrete plans. But, maybe I'll tweet what I'm doing later in the week once I've decided.
Yeah. My trades as well. had 109k, I believe, in the bank. So at this stage, I'm trading Merritt out. I appreciate last week's been good. Had some decent scores, 115. Good end to that. And I'll go Lockie Whitfield. Really like his matchup. And then Caleb Daniel to Matt Kennedy. I think that's a simple trade there. I did want to get Jack Sinclair in. I feel like Caleb Daniel's going to get dropped there. But if I could trade someone else out, but I feel like Caleb Daniel's got to go. So I'll get Sinclair potentially next week and look at bringing him in then. Jam's got in with a last-minute super chat. So we'll quickly answer this. He says, Chad Warner to Marshall and put Luke Jackson to a forward. 100% lock that in, particularly if Max Heath isn't playing as well this week because he's got a cherryless North Melbourne, then he's got Richmond, then Essendon, then GWS. It's the best run for any ruck for the rest of the season. So I will be locking him in. He's a good pod as well. So I'd be doing that one. But that does it for tonight. So Jono, thank you very much for jumping on with us. So where can the people find you across the socials? Where can people listen to the Free Kick podcast? But then also wanted to get you, for anyone that hasn't signed up to AFLW Fantasy yet, give me one lock for a defender, mid, and a forward. Not ruck, because it's a bit harder for just one position. But if you could give me a lock for the other three, what would they be?
Yeah, no worries. So I guess starting in the forward line, I think we've probably got the easiest pick I've ever seen in my life, which is Bonnie Toogood. Basically, she's had a season in the past averaging over 100, and she's priced at about 38. So I think this is probably the easiest pick we're ever going to have. So we just got to get over the scars of last season, where she had 2 first-half injuries for a 5 and a 4, which is what's called.
She's like the Bailey Smith.
100%. Yeah, priced so cheaply and projected by a lot of people to be the top averaging forward. So pretty easy there. I think in the midfield, there's a few similar players coming back from injury, but I'm going to go a rookie on this occasion. Ash Centra was the number 1 pick, and I think we've got a pretty sensational player here. I think her ceiling scores could be anything this year. Collingwood's bottom of the table in the women's, and she's going to walk straight into that midfield. As a junior, I think at one point she has a couple scores over 190. She had a 47 disposal game in the juniors, so that's going to be pretty special to watch. In defense, it's a little bit trickier. I think that's probably the hardest line to find the value we're looking for. But I think Maddie Gay is currently the most expensive defender, and I think she's one I probably expect to put 10 more points on that average. There's been a few rule changes in the game that I expect there'll be less ball ups, more ball on the outside. So I'm really hoping that as the, I suppose the defensive distributor for the Essendon Bombers, she'll be racking up plenty of the ball.
Yeah, I like that shout. The only thing I thought you might have said in the midfield, there was only one lock.
You were looking for the Kiara Bowers or the Ebony Marinoff, I guess.
Ebony Marinoff, yes. Noppy. Absolutely ridiculous. 145 average for those people playing along at home. It just absolutely ridiculous. And the games are shorter, which makes it even more incredible, which is there. But Jono, where can people find you across the socials, and where can they find the Free Kick Pod? And also, where can people sign up and get their AFLW fantasy team started?
Yeah, so I guess already in the AFL Fantasy app, there's already that drop-out button for the AFLW Fantasy. I'd get onto that as soon as you can, knowing that any ties are decided by how soon you sign up, so the sooner the better. You can follow the podcast at Free Kick W Pod. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And we've also released a Substack this year trying to focus on understanding the game style of each team just a little bit better, because I think that's always helpful in trying to figure out how they're moving the ball, what type of player is going to get onto the end of it. So that's a helpful one there. I'll be honest, I don't use my personal Twitter a lot. I think a lot of people will be better off following the podcast. But if you do want to find me, I am at Free Kick Jono on Twitter. And that is, happy to answer any questions that people chuck to me coming into the season. We're getting very close, only about 2 weeks away from the season launching, which is pretty exciting.
Yep, cannot wait. No, but beautiful, mate. Thank you very much for jumping on, and I've definitely got those 4 players already locked into my AFLW fantasy side. Jordy, mate, thank you for jumping on once again. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, just Jordan DeSena on X.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, mate. And Jordox, where can the people find you? The Finders Keepers Pod and the AFL Subs and Late Changes account.
Yes, so I'm on X at Jordox 2020, and the AFL Subs page is at AFL subs. Heard something today that's making it even more likely that that subs page won't be needed next year, which is great news for everyone. And then Finders Keepers is the Keeper and Dynasty League podcast that I'm running this year. And the episode that came out today has a bit of an announcement. There is a spot in one of my Keeper Leagues that has just opened up. So if you're interested in joining a Keeper League with me, listen to Finders Keepers for the next couple of weeks, because there's going to be a competition run. And if you are interested, you could win that spot in my league. So stay tuned. And yeah, that's it for me. Go the Crows.
Beautiful. Thank you, mate. And you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials and us at AFL Fantasy Fans on Twitter. Thank you, everyone, that joined in once again for another Tuesday night Q&A. And thank you to those that sent through the super chats. Now, if you did miss it earlier today, obviously, Jono was talking about AFLW Fantasy before, but we also had our first podcast episode for the pre-season 2 weeks to go, so not much of a pre-season, but Tom Hales has jumped on me for the season as my co-host, so very happy to have him on board and chatting through some first thoughts and some popular players and our thoughts on those. So if you'd like to check us out, then check it out. But Free Kick is a place to go first, and then also check us out at the same time. But I'll be back for all the usual content throughout the week, and we're back on Friday for another pre-lockout chat, as we always are. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on the pod, 5-star rating and review would be very much appreciated. Join the Patreon if you'd like to. Links in the description. And have a good night, guys. So thanks, everyone. Catch you then. See ya.
See ya.
See ya. That was good.